Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ketogenic Fasting Project Gone Carnivore. My name is Tom, and today's Epidose, I have a special guest named Tracy. Tracy's come to tell us about her story of how she resolved her issues on the carnivore diet. So, Tracy, why don't you say hello to everybody and start telling your story?
Okay. I would probably start by saying that I was not overweight as a child. I grew up and was just normal weight. I wasn't fed a good diet most of my life, but it was okay because I didn't get overweight. I was glad about that and had a lot of activity. And then I got married at a young age, and I had two children right away, a year apart. And then a couple of years later, had a third child. And all this time, I would be gaining weight along the way and actually wasn't able to lose it in between children. And so I put more weight on. And then after my third child, there was 9 years span, and I didn't lose weight then either. And I got pregnant with my fourth child, and she was my biggest child. But after having given birth to her, we just ate a lot of bad foods. We'd eat ice cream and, just all the junk food, the sad diet. And I just would gain more weight. And in March of 2008, I had a health crisis. And I guess my body had just gotten to the point where it just broke down. And I had high blood pressure, so high that I had to go to the hospital. My heart rate was like 120. Normally it's in the 60s now. And my blood pressure was like 220 over 120. And I had low iron. I was pre-diabetic. I was just in what I called a health crisis. They did many tests on me in the hospital and put me on a lot of medication, 9 pills altogether, but part of that was potassium to keep my potassium up, but they also gave me water pills like HCTZ, it's called, that I had to have extra potassium for. So I had a lot of pills, and at that point I was very, very sick, and mostly from the medicine, because when I went in the hospital, I didn't feel that bad, but high blood pressure doesn't normally make you feel that bad. So but I had the high heart rate, and that's mainly what I went in for, but then I found everything else. And so I took these medicines, and I got really sick and lost a lot of weight. I lost 70 pounds, but I couldn't basically get up off the couch or anything. My blood pressure was low, actually, with all that medicine. And I'd stand up and my blood pressure would drop really low at that point. So I couldn't even get up, hardly. So it took me a while to get my strength back and to get to the point where I could, be myself, is what I would call it. And so I had gotten so sick that I was just able to only eat like carrots. Every time I got hungry, I ate carrots. And that's why I did lose all that weight, which I don't recommend. It's not a very good way to lose weight. But then after I got myself kind of gathered back together, I put on 40 pounds again. And then I started doing different research to try to find answers for my health. So I did things like I learned to make green smoothies. And so I thought if I just pump my body full of green stuff, that I would get healed, Of course, I was adding banana and all kinds of fruit with the greens, and not realizing that the greens have so many anti-nutrients. So that was a bad situation. But then I went from doing green smoothies to juicing, where I was juicing lots of greens. And and I really wasn't getting better, but it did make me feel better than the standard American diet. I mean, I could say that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't feel good on eating ice cream and cake and all those things, but the juicing and the smoothies wouldn't get me anywhere to be healthy. And I would go back to the doctors, and, they would just tell me to keep taking the medicine. And So then I tried like Whole30, I tried low carb, I tried keto. And low carb, I'd eat like 100 carbs. And keto, I tried to stay under 20. And those were good, but they were, I don't know, I'm a really strange person when it comes to counting. I don't like to count calories. I don't like to count carbs. I don't like to count Weight Watcher points, any of that kind of stuff. And I did Weight Watchers too. And I started walking with my Fitbit, and I got up to 10,000 steps a day, and that may help me lose 10 pounds. And, you know, like keto helped me to lose 10 pounds. I did lose some weight on the different things that I tried, but it was not anything that helped me completely to get off medicine or to sustain me in any way. Because if I varied from the diet that I was trying, then I would end up gaining weight, or I just couldn't continue it. I'd have these massive cravings. I would guess is what I would say would happen, because on keto, I would have a little bit of sugar, and really and truly, I don't know if you know the difference between moderator and abstainer, but I have to be an abstainer. I'm just, if I have a little bit of sugar, I want a lot of sugar. So, that was the thing. And some people can moderate it, I guess. I can't imagine who those people are, but they're very special, I guess. But I cannot moderate. I have to abstain for sure. So after that, in October of 2018, and this was several years, it took, 10 years from my crisis to go through these different stages. And in October, I learned about the carnivore diet. I learned about it from a friend, and I had also done some reading and learned about it that way. But a friend had suggested it to me, and it just made sense to me. And I was thinking about it for like 1 or 2 days. I can't remember. It wasn't very long. And I started, I think, on a Saturday or Sunday. So, normally you would start the diets on a Monday, but I just was like, this is really what I need to be doing. I think this is really what I should do. And I found the carnivore diet very easy to do. I mean, what's for supper? Meat, so it was really easy to shop, easy to plan, easy to incorporate it into your life on a daily basis. And I did get the keto flu at the beginning. It was kind of hard for the first month or so, for sure. I think just my body trying to get rid of all the sugar and all the bad stuff and replacing it with all the nutrients I was putting in with the meat. So that was really a cool thing. I guess I would say more than anything, I healed my relationship with food, because, it wasn't a thing of when I would eat carbs or I'd eat sugar, all I wanted was more carbs and more sugar. I mean, on the Whole30 diet, I would sit down and eat a big bowl of fruit with nuts all over it. And then we'd make popcorn, and, it's just like one thing led to the next, and ice cream and stuff. We'd try to sneak some of that in too on the keto, but just, it's just was too difficult for me. So I knew I had to abstain from sugar and carbs. And I used to think that fruit was a great thing because, it's a healthy food. We've been taught all our lives, and the greens too. So
yeah,
I found out that, sugar is sugar. So if you get it from a banana or you get it from a bowl of ice cream, it's still sugar. So, and this has been the only way, this only lifestyle. I call it a lifestyle because it is the only way that I have found to be able to lose the weight that I need to lose, get back to a healthy weight, and be able to sustain it and make it a lifestyle. I just feel like I healed my relationship with food, and so I can eat for, just to nourish my body instead of eating for comfort. And I mean, there's a lot of emotional things, that go along with eating standard American diet. And I'm not so sure that the sugar doesn't make you feel, badly enough that you want comfort from it. It's just, it's very addicting. It's more addicting than cocaine, I've often heard. But on the carnivore diet, I have noticed that I'm very satiated, and I don't think I ever used the word satiated in my whole life until I was on the carnivore diet. And I'd eat my meal and I'd think, I am so satisfied. My body is very satisfied with this food. And my blood pressure started dropping and everything. And I was able to get off the blood pressure medicines with my doctor's guidance and be able to, because my blood pressure was dropping, so I had to get off of it for sure. And so that was such a blessing. And I realized the correct way of eating, and I didn't have to count calories. I didn't have to count carbs and none of that stuff. I have better strength. My muscles are so strong. I feel like the meat has rebuilt my body in many, many respects. I found a whole community of people that love to eat carnivore, and to me, that's very encouraging. And it was so encouraging to see other people's success stories, and that just kind of boosts you on your way. And I found that I was less sad in my life. I would wake up and be happier, and my teeth and gums got better. My skin got better. I can intermittent fast, and I usually do for like 18 and a half hours, and I don't feel hungry. I'm just satisfied. And, so it's just been so many benefits, no cravings. I'm more thankful. I have more hair growth and nail growth. It's, stronger nails. And so there's just so much benefit to it. But more than anything, it was my blood pressure. My potassium leveled out and became normal again. And I'm no longer pre-diabetic. And so, meat heals. I'm just very amazed at how that carnivore, the lifestyle, can heal you so much. And I see it in so many people in our community, different things, whatever ailments they have, they're healing from those just by eating the meat. And I love steak. I love all ruminant animals. Mostly I love lamb. It's like my favorite. And occasionally I'll eat chicken or something, but and fish. I like salmon sometimes, but for the most part, I love beef. So.
Yeah, do you find yourself spending less time having to cook and prepare food? And
Definitely, yes. Less time to cook, less time to clean up the kitchen too. And just, even grocery shopping is so simple. You just go over and pick out your meat and you're on your way. I like to order meat through the mail too and have it delivered right to the door and keep the freezer stocked up. And my husband has been on this with me also, and it's been very encouraging and helpful because I don't have in the house things that I can't eat. And actually, I can eat anything I want, but I choose not to. So that's where I'm at. My granddaughter one time said, "You can't have that food." And I was like, well, yeah, I can have it, but I choose not to eat it because it doesn't make my body feel good. So I'm trying to help them understand and learn too, but it's challenging when you grow up with standard American and that's all you know. So, and when they're young, they're so young that their bodies take the beating, I guess you'd say.
yes, they're very resilient.
Yep.
They haven't depleted their nutrients yet, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, do you find that you spend more or less money on food now, or did any change?
Actually, I think we spend maybe about the same, somewhere near the same. If you're not buying ice cream and bags of M&Ms and packages of chips and, you eliminate all those things, then you got a lot more money for buying meat. And so I really don't think we spend any extra unless we're just trying to splurge on, extra steaks or something like that. But.
So when you kind of described a little bit of keto flu or whatever in your transition period, what symptoms did you have?
Mostly I had diarrhea and I would say extreme fatigue. I was very, very tired. And basically I felt like that was me healing because I needed to rebuild. My body needed to be rebuilt. And so basically it was fatigue, and I don't know, I could function even though I was tired, but it did make me really tired. But then after a month or so, I was able to get right back in the situation, and it was not that difficult.
Did you have to experiment at all in the beginning with different cuts of meat, or did you naturally gravitate towards certain types, or was it kind of a non-issue? Or
Um, Mostly we just, my husband always ate meat, and he always loved meat. And I would always say, we need more vegetables. Well, of course, I had no clue, but he was a meat eater all his life. So
Hmm.
it was not a problem. He guided the way, and we got us beef and steaks, and I mean, mostly steaks and hamburger. We'd try a lot. And then I wanted to try, lamb. And so we went that direction. And I knew ruminant animals were really, really healthy kind of meat to eat. I mean, I don't know if poultry is really as much as the ruminant animals, but we did have chicken at times and turkey, but
I think the problem with chicken and turkey is that they're probably fed the worst diets of all, so they're not in good shape. They barely survive to long enough to be slaughtered. It's kind of like they're fed an unnatural diet. They just give them a bunch of grain and stuff. They don't get to go out and eat bugs. And I don't know if you've ever raised chickens, but they're vicious. They'll eat they'll eat each other if you give them half a chance. They'll eat mice and rats and stuff like that. They like to eat meat. They eat bugs, worms, stuff like that. But when they're raised in a factory farm situation, they're just fed grain and
all right.
perhaps soy and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So, and like the Thanksgiving turkeys, are their immune system is so compromised that the workers have to wear protective gear to make sure they don't contaminate the turkeys, or they'll die from the flu or something
Oh
before they
my.
get
Yeah.
slaughtered. Yeah.
Well, my husband and I have always gone organic, and we always go free range and grass fed and grass finished. I know there's different viewpoints of that, and many people don't mind the grain fed, and some of them prefer that. But for me, I think of the animal feeding operations, and like you said, the confined things that they do to chickens, and I mean, even the cows and everything. And so that's one reason we choose to purchase the 100%, grass fed and grass finished.
Yeah, I think anybody who can afford it tries to do that now. It's kind of like that awareness that there are people out there that raise animals in a more natural way, and they have
Yeah.
better quality of life. And if you ever get the chance to taste a natural turkey or a wild turkey, it's completely different. So it's just
Mm.
like eating a backyard chicken over a factory chicken.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's very different. Or even the eggs. I don't know. Maybe you even know somebody who has chickens for eggs. The eggs are completely different. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We have a friend that has eggs that he's been giving us before. So those are really good. And otherwise, we try to buy organic and, free range chicken eggs.
well, so I like to get a duck here and there, but most of the time when I get a duck, it's frozen, and it says it says on the package, organic vegan fed duck, and you're like,
Oh,
so
oh,
so, I'm glad it's organic, but they're feeding this poor bird an unnatural diet, so
right. Right.
ducks are supposed to be out eating all kinds of things, including fish
Right.
and whatnot. So
Right.
yeah, it's perhaps not the best. If you can go out and shoot a wild duck or something, you're probably better off. But
Oh, yeah.
fortunately, even a factory duck tastes pretty good. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're pretty healing. I think their liver and everything. If you eat the duck liver, I've heard that's really healthy.
is that right? Yeah. Well, most liver tends to be, I guess. So I didn't really think about that duck liver. I mean, I've had goose liver a few. Of course, they banned
Uh,
foie gras here where I live. So,
Oh, they did. Oh
yeah.
no.
So anyways, well, did you want me to share some of your photos real quick?
Sure.
So you sent me a few photos, and let me get these. So these are your before pictures. You have a rough idea how long ago this was?
They were ranged from like 2003 to 2013. So that was the before.
Okay, and this is you now. This little shot
Right.
here in the composite. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then this is you in junior high.
Yeah, junior high, 14 years old. So I was
Shaking,
pretty active and pretty
shaking
thin
the
back
pom
then.
poms.
Yeah.
And then this was roughly 2013.
Yes. About 2000. Yeah, 2013.
Yep, you're a new person now. And this is more of your after shots, huh?
Right. Yeah, that'd be July.
July
Or
this
let's see
year.
that. Yeah. Well, yeah, in October also. So those are
July.
those are like after about a year of carnivore. So
That's some amazing progress. That's a big difference in a year. Let's see.
yeah, I've been doing the carnivore lifestyle for like 14 months. So there's no going
14
back for
months.
sure.
Yeah, it's amazing when you know it's right. When everything starts falling into place and you feel good and you have traumatic changes like this, and
Hmm.
that is pretty amazing. So I'm sure you sharing your story today is going to help a lot of people out there, inspire a lot of people. So, and
I hope so.
you're available as a coach at MeetRx, right?
Yes, I am.
So, so yeah, if anybody wants some personal help from Tracy, maybe some people prefer having a coach. A lot of people just do it on their own. But if you want, you can find Tracy at MeetRx, and you can schedule a coaching session with her, and she'll give you some friendly advice.
I will. Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, I'm disappearing again. What's going on? The computer technology is trying to erase me.
Oh
So,
no.
well, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so, except I know there's people out there that kind of are losing hope in their life. Someone with high blood pressure like I had, it gets very overwhelming, and you just don't know what to do or where to turn. And I just would want to encourage everyone to seek out some health solutions, and I would say give carnivore a try, especially like for a month or maybe 2 months, and see if it wouldn't work for you too.
Yeah, it sounds like some good advice. Check it out. There's plenty of videos out there. There's plenty of free information out there for people who are interested in a meat-based diet, carnivore diet, zero carb diet, lion diet. It's got a lot of names now. So
Mm-hmm.
there's lots of Facebook groups. There's places like MeetRx where you can see all kinds of examples. There's lots of YouTube videos. Like this will be a YouTube video, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Well, I thank you for taking the time to share your story today. And if you ever want to do it again, just let me know. If you've got something to add, hopefully I'll
Okay.
be more visible the whole video.
Well, thank you, Tom.
So if everybody share this link with somebody who might help it, maybe you know somebody in your life that has high blood pressure, and maybe Trace's story would help them. If you subscribe to my channel, it'd be greatly appreciated, because that makes a big difference. Once somebody gets 1,000 subscribers, then things usually improve and more people will see the videos. So anyways, maybe give it a thumbs up, leave your comments, and we'll see everybody online. Feel better.